Greetings, every people. It's your cult personality here, ToonKriticY2K, Toon's name of the game. Welcome back to Roundtable's magical show we do where we talk about the Technicolor ponies of pastel variety.
Iron Will will not let you finish this introduction because Iron Will is the greatest.
We already got British Ninja over there, so...
British Ninja is not here today. It is
You
only
sound
Iron
constipated.
You sound constipated, yeah.
Who is this imposter who tried to impersonate Iron Will's manliness?
There's Thespiel.
X-Lax or something.
There's Golden Fox.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Voice of Reason is not here with us. He is actually out seeing the My Little Pony movie in theaters, which is what you should totally be doing.
Do it in theaters.
And we got Lightning Bliss.
Hasbro's totally spying on me. I call hacks. I'm gonna file a lawsuit because it's a conspiracy, man. They're watching my every move.
Uh-huh. And we have, today's special guest, we have Befish Productions.
Excuse you.
I'm sorry, Befish. There we go.
Jesus Christ.
You took that on purpose!
I totally did.
You're literally calling her a Befish. Is there some shipping-related offenses we don't know about,
It was so much fun, though. At Crystal Mountain PonyCon, I kept saying Befish, and she just shot me like this dirty look like I just kicked a puppy every time I said Befish.
I like that description. I just kicked a puppy. That's the equivalent.
You are not a good person.
So, oh boy, we have a fun episode. Today's episode we have is the Lightning Bliss episode that we've all been waiting for. This episode is not called Once Upon a Zeppelin, it's called The Lightning Bliss Show.
No, it's not, you lie. You take it back, you son of a edgelord. Get out of here.
Now, am I just curious that we have an episode prior to this? Lightning Bliss went on a cruise with Dr. Wolf to relax, to just have a chill time. And the episode that comes out this past weekend, it's about Twilight Sparkle taking a break from her work and going on a Zeppelin cruise with her family. The coincidences are lining up. Coincidence? I think not. But anyway,
I think not!
today's episode is Once Upon a Zeppelin. It is a Twilight Sparkle family episode. Something we don't often get to see with the entire Sparkle family and, in-laws and outlaws all together and whatnot. So, who wants to get this started?
And I take one step back.
Alright, Bliss, thank you for volunteering. Come on.
I took a step back. I took a step back. If you don't want to, you pick somebody else. You gotta help.
Bliss, I'm sorry to say this, but you still spoke. That automatically means you want to go first in everybody else's eyes.
Yep, go ahead, Bliss.
I'm sorry, you can't set yourself up for that.
I forfeit. I forfeit.
No, you don't. Come on, come on. So
So
what did you like about this episode, other than it perfectly encapsulates what we've been trying to tell you to relax? That's a sound.
You know, just be lucky that I actually didn't look up the opening of that one show that had the freaking twins in it. I forgot what it was called. Everywhere I go,
Full House.
Full House.
Thank you.
Alright. What did I like about this episode? Other than the freaking obvious! God bless America! Okay. Trying to keep it PG. Well, I admit that the moral... It had a lot of morals going for it, and I know I should only pick one, but, Actually, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go a little generic and pick the one scene that, like, reminded me of something that happened at BronyCon, only it was kind of the reverse. That moment where Twilight loses her nerve, loses her composure, she gets angry, I can't blame her for it. She steps on that fan's hoof by accident, but it's like, it was his dumb fault for standing that close to her. Yeah, I know, I admit, he's socially awkward, he's being that socially awkward fan.
We all know a Star Tracker.
He's a brony.
All had an experience. All of us here, I speak for everybody here, I'm pretty sure, have had an experience here where we've had that one fan that was just too close and didn't know when to back off, and anyway, I think they captured that moment just perfectly well. That she lost her nerve and yelled at him, and I honestly do not blame her. And that reminds me, that first off, that just tells she's not perfect, obviously. And it also kind of hits me personally because at BronyCon, I've had that moment where, like, to be fair, this is my own fault, and the episode talks about there should always be a line for you. You need to set a line for yourself and what you're willing to handle and take on. My problem was that at BronyCon, I've been at a table all day while everybody else was out having fun and mingling with friends and going to panels. So the only time I could hang out with friends and go have fun with them was after closing hours of the vendor hall, which was around 6 or 7 p.m. By then it was late. I am tired. I am exhausted. All I want to do is be with my friends, and I had all these fans coming up to me and talking to me and whatnot, and I tried to be nice and polite and give them a good time, because that's what they're here for, and as long as I'm with my friends, I'm happy. But here's the thing. I wasn't happy. I got overwhelmed. I couldn't get a breather, and it got to a point where I freaking lost it. But rather than snapping at a fan, thank God I didn't, instead I went and cowered behind a chair that Eliora was sitting on. I literally cowered behind a chair and cried.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ellie and her boyfriend, Charky and Tarek, were basically guarding me while I regained my composure. But I love how the episode basically captured that moment, that we have a line. There is a line. We need to recognize there is one and not let it get to that point, like Twilight got to that point. But it just shows she's not perfect, and she's learning something from this, and I'm so happy to see that the episode was basically related to what we go through. So that was probably my favorite moment. And with that, I will pass it on to...
Over here!
I think Willy Woodle wants to be called Bliss.
Okay, Uncle Sawhorse, you're up.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Twilight, because in a way, Twilight is also one of my main positives. Like, honestly, this episode kind of had a lot of positives as well as a couple negatives, so it's kind of hard for me to pick and choose. But that is one main positive that I would actually like to expand on, but from a sort of different perspective, if you will. Just follow me on this.
Okay.
Twilight is another big favorite of mine when it comes to characters on the show. She's behind Rarity. What I really enjoyed about Twilight is, kind of like what Bliss said, is how she kind of mirrored something about myself when it comes to conventions. Not in, like I've had similar experiences to what Bliss did maybe once or twice, but the other thing that I really enjoyed about Twilight that kind of fits me to a T also, I would say it's kind of an expansion about what Fluttershy goes through in the Health of Information, but in a different context. Twilight, despite, being brought on this, without reading the fine print, which I'll get to it another time when I discuss negative, she was really determined to make sure everybody was having a good time, even if it meant sacrificing what she wanted to do. And honestly, that's me in a sense. I admit, I kind of have this thing where my main thing whenever I go on a trip is to make sure everybody else is having a good time, because if I see they're having a good time, then I'm having a good time.
It's not just you, it's also me, and especially Dr. Wolf.
Oh, it's me too. It's more so that we want to try to please everyone as we can, because as entertainers, as content makers, we do have fans that do want to come see us, and we do want to make them happy. Even the smallest thing that we do makes them happy in some way, shape, or form. So we at least owe at least a little bit towards that, but there is a line, and I'll let Thespio continue on that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, like, she was really trying to balance out a lot, making sure her family had a good time, making sure the rest of the cruise attendees had a good time, but she also wanted to make sure that she herself had a good time, especially with her wanting to try and see the Northern Stars. That was the one big thing she got to do, and when she couldn't get to see it because of all these other duties, I really felt that. That
broke my heart.
There have been some moments where, when I went to conventions, there was this one thing I was really hell-bent on doing, and when there was only like once or twice where I missed it, I felt really lousy. It really did hurt. I mean, that wasn't like the one thing that made the vacation for me, that would make the vacation for me, but it was a nice little supplement thing. So like, in conclusion, just Twilight also really encaptures my mindset whenever I go to specific events like this. Like, expanding on Lightning Bliss's thing, I want to make sure that the people who spent their hard-earned money to come and see us are given the time of day, but, you know, with a merit or a line that shouldn't be crossed. But you also want to make time for yourself and the other people that you care about, that you've known for longer, like family and friends and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I really connected with. And another thing is, this might just be like another sort of supplement thing, I really love how the rest of Twilight's family was acting. They were also determined to make sure she herself also had a good time. Like Twilight's mother and dad, which I think that they are just adorable together. And can I say this? I think Twilight Velvet may be a secret adrenaline junkie.
Yeah,
probably slightly, but you know, I can remember a point for all of us and how we can relate to Twilight, and ironically, it's with you, Thespio. It's I remember it was episode PonyCon. I can't remember if it was my first one or second, but I remember you were doing a singing performance. And some of us missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was 2016 Pacific PonyCon.
Yeah, I remember being upset about that. I remember that, like, I know we said good luck and we give you our support, good luck, but I was hoping to catch it, and I didn't. See, there was my little Twilight moment right there. I'm like, I missed it. It's not fair.
Do you want to know
the
most relevant and recent example of this tomfoolery is when Silver Quill had to miss Anthony C's panel to attend his own at BronyCon 2017.
That could be another good example. But yeah, just like Bliss said, to wrap it up, because I'm sure we want to move on to other people. I really felt for Twilight in this, just like Bliss did. So this was a personal episode for me, and it really hit the nails on the head. So yeah, you know, with that said, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Toon. Sorry for taking up so much time.
All right,
That's
so my favorite in this episode actually goes with Shining and Cadence. I thought both these two being in this, because I initially thought that this is just going to be like just Twilight and her mom and her dad, you know, just a private thing with them. But he brings Shining and Cadence along, and
well,
I really
they are her
family. I know, but I thought it would have just been like private or whatever. But the way that Shining and Cadence were used in this episode, I liked it. I liked how they were actually utilized here. Give props to Shining for not throwing up once that entire episode.
What a boss!
What a boss!
I was expecting at like the last 10 seconds of the episode, they're just like, "Yay, family!" and then Shining just immediately turns around and hurls over the Zeppelin. I was like, "Oh man, you were this close." But
actually, you know what? In a way, I'm glad he didn't, because otherwise, there might have been some ponies' heads that were in the way of that projectile vomit on the ground. That would have been magnificent.
I'll give him credit. He swallowed that like 2.0.
I
Alright,
thought
time out,
Flurry
guys.
was also pretty cool in this episode too. But Cadence, I think, was the one she delivered the moral in the episode, and I'm just like, yes, finally, Cadence gets to do something. Holy crap!
Cadence is
Okay, this
useful!
one, you were useful. You delivered in this episode. Thank you.
You know what I loved about her most, other than her delivering the moral. What I loved about her the most is when she and Twilight realize what they're in for when all the fans are looking at them and they have these creepy shirts on or a head mask of Cadence or whatnot, and Cadence is like, "Oh my!" But in the back of my mind, she's saying, "Oh shit."
There goes the PG rating out the window.
Is there even a PG rating period?
We try.
But yeah, you know what? I will agree with you on that, Toon. Shining and Cadence, like, this is an episode where it wasn't just Twilight. Every member of her family got to do at least one thing, even if it was small. And yeah, I agree. Like, honestly, out of the two, I think Shining Armor was the more entertaining one. I don't know why. I love
hilarious.
seeing him when he's a dork.
I just love seeing him just like, nope, I'm not thrown up. I'm alright. I'm just like, oh, Shining. Just you champ. Keep it up.
I love how he falls into the pool and he's too weak to get up and his mom has to levitate him out. That was just so adorable and my heart melted.
This is why I like Shining Armor, because he's a dork and it's funny and it works. So I'm bisexual. Come at me.
No, I never said that as an insult. In fact, I commend you for it.
Or on me, whichever works. Anyway, let's continue on. I picked Golden Fox.
Okay. Lightning Bliss on the clear ship. We'll be back after these messages.
Okay.
Hello!
Okay, that you got a chuckle at me.
I had to do that. I just had to do that.
You know what? He is gonna have no mercy on you.
The Lightning Bliss show will be back after these messages.
I believe you!
If you have anything to say about the episode.
Wow, I think this is like the second time in a while that a thing that Golden Fox did made Zach just lose it.
That's usually how it works. Anyway, Fox, what is your positive for this
So
episode?
my positive is that I just like the whole concept that we finally get to know more about Twilight's parents, and I think that this is something in which I like to take as somewhat of a stepping stone, or at least something that can be at least once in the time of the show, because throughout the entirety of this season and last season, we've been introduced to the parents of pretty much every main character. We got to see Fluttershy's parents. We got to see Rainbow Dash's parents. Unfortunately, we did every now and then got to see Twilight's parents, but not as often as this episode. And I think that's I think that definitely goes something with Twilight and what her personality is. And you can even pick up on some little details, like her dad was saying how satisfying it is when he was looking at the chart and seeing all the numbers match together when she was putting together a graph for like a to-do list.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, Twilight takes off from her dad. That's adorable. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I like little stuff like that. It definitely shows like there's somewhat of a family trait that connects to Twilight and how organized she really likes to be.
It helps establish the parental bond between them and Twilight.
And then you have the mom who's like, she's obviously an adrenaline junkie. I would think Shining Armor kind of takes up after her a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I will definitely take off Ripple Effect, and we still have yet to know more about Rarity's parents. We've heard plenty of times about Sweetie Belle. I was about to say the other name. But yeah. So, who shall I pass it on to? Who hasn't gone yet?
Our guest.
No.
Okay, well, let's pass it to our guest, Befish.
Shit. Well, going back to where Lightning Bliss was going, I wanted to go sort of the opposite tiny moral that was going on, that I think was sort of a call out to most bronies, like that one episode that we had a while ago, that you need to be reminded that actors and princesses and whatever are actually people. and I like that they're pointing it out in the show because of how bad it can get sometimes. So,
Calling back to Fame and Misfortune?
Yeah. Yeah, calling back to that episode, that's definitely something that I like to see in the episodes because of how bad it can get, and how bad I'll see it even just in the fandom, when these are fans just like you, and everyone treats them like they're some gods.
Well, I mean, they're not
like,
wrong. They're in charge of moving the celestial bodies. But I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, but they are just people.
Night,
Especially
day.
especially Twilight, since she is a new princess and she's getting used to everything. But yeah, that's what I liked. I also really liked the design of the ship they were on.
Oh, that was a
very
beautiful
nice
ship.
Zeppelins are cool. We need to see more Zeppelins.
I think like the last time we saw a Zeppelin like in action was back during the song in Sweet and Elite. I think I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I think so.
Might be.
Yeah.
I prefer Led Zeppelins.
I really like the idea of like airships in the first place. It makes me think of how like flying is just like driving a car. So
to be honest, I
being
saw. Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thing.
I was going to say being on a ship is just like the same thing as being like on an actual cruise, and I don't know why, but I like that idea.
Alright, who do you pass it to?
Love here.
Yeah, I think
Is there
that's all
anyone-
that's left. I think all that's left is Ninja.
Okay.
Well, then toss.
I would like to preface that when I normally read from a script, because I'm terrible at remembering things, all of this is in caps lock, so enjoy.
It is fitting that this episode features Iron Will, because I feel like this episode tackles the same issues as Putting Your Hoof Down, brother. Here we see Twilight as the perfect vessel of taking on more than you can handle, which works as Twilight's character post-Alicorn has always been wanting to be as perfect as possible and making everybody happy. While it sucks watching Twilight learn once again that she is not a god, they at least use this opportunity to teach an important lesson. While showing so much respect to so many other people, she forgot one very important person: herself. One wonders if Iron Will is secretly using this to implement his self-respecting seminars in secret. Iron Ninja, being the most humble and gracious content creator in this entire universe, often compromises or simply steps down. Did I give you permission to laugh?
Okay, I'm sorry. You humble?
I give you permission to laugh.
Who just rang the bell?
That was me. I was ringing the bell on this.
All around Iron Ninja when he is wrestling.
Anyway,
Anywho,
continue,
as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I often make compromises or simply step down when making self-centered decisions, leading to many a time when I and Ninja simply, watched others have fun. This boils Iron Ninja's potatoes, and is something that kids should learn. It is okay to be self-centered sometimes. It is okay to look out for yourself sometimes, to make sure that you are getting what every decent human being deserves, that being happiness. So yes, I do like this episode.
Lies, deceit, slander.
What, you don't think humans deserve happiness?
No, I believe we deserve happiness. Yeah, no, yes, wait, what?
Bliss.
I understand what Ninja's going for. In a sense, it's sort of expanding upon, what I said.
Yes.
So.
Oh, you are not worth crediting.
Well, fuck you too.
That PG rating is definitely gone.
There goes the PG-13 rating.
The problem is that Iron Ninja is not on top of his game this week. The problem being is that I struggle to find a downside to this episode. Oh wait, is everyone else gone? I think everyone else is gone.
Yeah, everyone
Okay,
else.
so we're on the negatives. The only negative nitpick is that I see was turned into a joke and was admittedly funny, so I can hardly call it a negative. But why on earth would you go on a cruise, hand-gifted to you completely free with no additional charges? Just sign this paper?
God damn it, you took my negative.
Woman, what were you thinking? You are the mother. You are the mother to two of the most powerful creatures in the land, and you are accepting what may be a terrorist ransom.
You know, I would imagine they get spam mail in Equestria. I'm pretty sure people would have known to ignore it.
But yes.
You know what? I'd actually be inclined to agree, maybe.
I can't wait for the episode where Twilight receives an email from an Arabian prince who she must donate half the fund to. But even then, that's not really negative. I just thought it was silly and cool. Iron Ninja gets 2 positives because I am nothing but positivity. I shall pass it back to the less important, but still important voices.
I need fan art of Iron Ninja stat. That's amazing.
Yes! Iron Ninja!
Ah, that's amazing. So who
Someone-
Iron
went?
Ninja, go take a drink, because my god, my voice is shot.
Well, Ninja, what have we learned?
That I am the most important member of this podcast.
The hell you are.
He's one of the funniest, I mean, to be fair.
Obviously, it's me.
Yes.
Alright,
The
so
person who's only been here once.
who, I believe it was...
Fish
It was Befish that's
Alright,
next.
go ahead.
Well, I just did mine, though.
You do your negative.
Okay, my negative, I guess even though everyone really liked the fact that the parents were in this episode, I feel like we didn't get to see them enough compared to maybe, like, parental guidance, even though I did not like that episode.
Thank you.
Or other episodes that base around getting to know the parents. I feel like the only thing you got to learn is the mom's adrenaline rush, and that's about all I got from it, and the dad probably says dad jokes. That's all I got from her parents.
Oh, well, I mean, Nightlight
likes bingo
does
over
also
right?
seem to be a bingo fanatic, and, you know, things
Yeah,
and
that-
swears and stuff like that.
He's a bingo fanatic and he likes organization.
And even though I actually enjoyed Flurry Heart in this episode, she was still there, and that immediately takes it all down. God, I hate Flurry Heart. I just... I didn't really have many negatives for this episode, but those were my 2. That was all I could come up with. I went back and even looked at my notes when he said to go find a negative and a positive, and I realized I didn't write down a single negative. Oops. But yeah, I'm gonna. Do I still need to pass it?
Yeah, who went
I
before
think-
you?
It was Fox.
Okay, Golden.
That was gold. Oh, I thought it was Toon.
No,
No,
I'm after
no.
Fox.
Oh, okay, my bad. Bleh.
We now return to the Lightning Bliss.
You are going to die! I am going to add your sorry, scrawny feather butt! Mark my words, Goldilocks!
I want to see fan art of that. Just holding up a set of his Lightning Bliss show, and you just see Bliss reeing off in the background.
Like your face, you're gonna be able to sit on it for a month.
Oh. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so my negative, and British is really going to hate me for this, I did not like Iron Will in this episode.
You took
Damn it, you stole my
negative,
negative!
you frick!
Because here's the thing.
There we go.
Back in putting her hoof down, yeah, he was aggressive and everything, But at the same time, there was one moment where after he stepped down because Fluttershy stated out loud that she is not satisfied, which is a part of a condition that Iron Will put together. In this episode, it just seemed like they bastardized him. They just made him out to be a complete villain. He had this potential to have something a little more meaning with his character, but they instead decided to just give him the same treatment that Flim and Flam did with the episodes until Viva Las Pegasus. And it disappoints me because I was making this comparison between both Iron Will and Flim and Flam based on who is the better character as a business role model. And apparently Iron Will is now getting shafted because of this episode.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
A part of me does agree with you. I mean, on one hand, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He gave the parents the contract. They should have read it. They didn't, and he pointed out that it has been explained in the fine print. You signed it. Not my fault. You didn't read it. That's correct, and that is a good business perspective. However, what made him an antagonist was when he guilt-tripped Twilight. He's like, oh, I guess we'll have to turn this boat around and break the hearts of all these ponies on board.
That was smart, though, I thought.
I feel like that goes off of what people said about Legends of Everfree, that movie, where like they made the businessman an antagonist when all they did was make him seem meaner when he did basically nothing wrong.
Yeah, but at that point, he didn't have to guilt trip. That was a guilt trip.
Yeah, that too.
That is what made him the antagonist.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Goldie.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my negative. I at least hope that in a future episode, he kind of gets the same treatment as Flim and Flam did with Viva Las Pegasus. But who knows? Maybe they'll just make him a complete villain for the sake of making him a complete villain. And,
they tried that in the comics and did horribly. At least
comics don't count.
I know,
Well,
but still.
Fox, if I may offer a compromise, I wouldn't necessarily say he's in the same league as quote-unquote villains. Like he's nowhere near levels of, say, like Tyrek and Chrysalis and stuff like that. He's more...
Oh, no, not even close.
Yeah, honestly, I just say he's still, an antagonist or, like, a nuisance that they deal with. So I wouldn't really put him on the same league as quote-unquote villains, just... I honestly can't see him being quote-unquote evil.
Okay, I also want to bounce off of a comment that was just said, saying I still felt like he was in character in a way. No, he was still in character, it's just that he was taken to a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I meant. It's a direction that I don't agree with.
Yeah, so I kind of liked the other personality he was in Putting Your Hook Down, where he was a businessman and he wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong. I wish they could have kept that, but oh well. It's what it is.
I actually may expand on that when I get to my negative, but either way, go ahead, Fox.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end my part, and who went before me?
That would be me.
Alright.
Oh, God.
I want it back to the frickin' edgelord. Edgy.
Okay.
Edge horse.
So I originally was going to bring up the fact that the Twilight's parents are kind of freaking stupid. I mean, looking over the whole, who look is the fine print? I don't know. Ask Mario and see how well that worked up in Luigi's Mansion. Anyway, what I actually am going to talk about, not even that Iron Will was a good villain in this episode. I felt he was the wrong villain for this episode. Because the way that all this is played out, I wanted to know, how did Iron Will actually rope all of this together? Because that looks like it took quite a while for him to get all the necessary paperwork, to learn all the fans, to get out the false letter and whatnot. I mean, granted, that does seem pretty impressive. But you know who could have actually done that and we would have believed it? Flim and Flam. This could have very much... This very much could have been a better episode if Flim and Flam were the ones that orchestrated it. Because, 1, it's more believable. 2, they have the know-how to lure Twilight's parents in, probably. But then again, you're wondering, but what do Flim and Flam have to gain from this? Money. It spells money all over it.
You are asking Flim and Flam to be bastardized the same way Iron Will.
Well, it's not like they did any better in frickin', Viva Las Pegasus.
No, but they helped out.
The thing is, You honestly expect me to believe Iron Will, the freaking Hulk Hogan Minotaur-looking dude, has the business know-how to pull all this off? And I find it actually kind of funny. I remember saying at the end of the episode, no, throw him overboard. He needs... Oh, he jumped overboard. Okay, alright, I guess the problem fixes itself. Alright. Alright.
I do think the Flim Flam brothers would have been a better match.
I don't know. I just felt Iron Will was the wrong character for this episode. It would have been a lot better if it was Flim and Flam. That's not really that much of a negative, more so of a nitpick, I guess. I can't really think of any other negatives. Twilight's dad is kind of stupid, I guess. I guess I'll go with that.
He just feels like the typical dad. Full of dad jokes.
I have a tiny side point on why Iron Will is the greatest choice of a villain for this.
Alright.
Is it because you can make jokes about it?
No, and I'm not even going to do the thing. And I'm not even going to do the Iron Will voice, just because, like, it hurts my throat. The thing is, Iron Will made such a specific plan for one thing, and that was revenge. Not necessarily revenge on Twilight, but revenge for people who screwed him over in his last business. Because, like, he mentions that the seminar thing kind of dried up after people figured out they could get their money back, you know, because of Fluttershy being a tool at the end of putting your hoof down. Like, he did nothing wrong, and he got conned by some ponies, honestly. So the fact that he got them back by saying, oh, didn't you read the fine print? It says you have to do this. I was like, ha, got him. You can't really complain when he got you fair and square. You should have read the damn fine print before making a deal. So, yeah. I do kind of like Iron Will being... And he jumped off the boat, man.
Instead of being thrown over, he's like, I'll throw myself over.
You can't throw me over. I skydive.
Definitely best part.
You know what? It's actually interesting you say that, Ninja, because... Like, Toon, I'm assuming you're done with your negative?
Yeah, I'm done.
Alright, since we're passing it on to me. You know what? I'm actually sort of inclined to agree. Iron Will... I mean, Flim and Flam could possibly fit better, but given context, yeah, I think Iron Will does fit the bill a little better. But at the same time, Iron Will was sort of also my negative. I mean, not like in the way like he was written... Like, in a sense, Iron Will was in this episode, he was a character I enjoyed hating. Like, he knew the ins and outs. Like, he got all this business know-how to run a cruise specifically. Like, here's my questions. I don't know how fast word travels around Equestria, but I want to know, how did he get all this information about every single princess based on their locations? The Crystal Empire, Canterlot, blah, 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 blah. And
a lot of that was fake. A lot of that was made up, though, remember. Like, he wasn't very accurate.
Well, still, like, he used what he has to his advantage, and... Actually, going off of what Befish was saying, what if he I don't know, like, I'm probably just theorizing at this point, what if he sent out that thing to Twilight's parents as junk mail, but with Twilight's folks not reading the fine print? Like, maybe that's, like, part of his shtick, like, as being a little manipulative, because Shining Arbor did say outright he is manipulative.
Yeah.
So, and plus,
what actually happens.
Well, yeah, just I don't know, that's just me, and the fact that he himself must have written all those contracts, including making the fine print, fine print. So, like, he was, honestly, I could see him better in this. It's like, haha, I swindled you, no refunds.
Yeah. He would specifically say no refunds because the refund thing is what screwed him over last time, hence the revenge.
So, but yeah, like, Iron Will, yeah, in a sense he is my negative, but he's a negative I enjoyed seeing as a negative.
Yeah.
Like it's in the same sense, Iron Will in this episode is how okay, if I may make another comparison, I'll try to keep this short.
All right.
Iron Will in this episode, I see pretty much the same as I see Trixie in Turnabout Storm. Now, in the show, Trixie, I can't stand her guts. But in Turnabout Storm, a fan project, nearly 9 hours long, mind you, I enjoyed the hell out of Trixie. Yes, she was still a despicable character, but she knew what she was doing. She had the smarts. And I'm like, Trixie, you are an awful pony in this, but I love you for it!
Yeah, they played her like she was the Ace Attorney villain, which is great. Because they're great.
She knew what to do. She utilized everything she did to a T. It's like, wait, you can't do that. It's like, oh, wait, that makes sense. That's how I feel about Iron Will in this. So, like I said, to wrap it up, Iron Will, he is my negative, but he's an enjoyable negative.
My turn.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
with that said, we'll wrap this up with Bliss.
Okay. I'm so glad nobody took this one.
How do you think I feel? 2 of my negatives were taken. My
I'm gonna crack.
my backup.
I'm gonna crack my neck for this one. Twilight goes to the captain's room to investigate who's making such announcements and ruining their time. When she finds out it's Iron Will, she immediately recognizes him and says, "You, Iron Will, what are you doing here?" Yada yada. Okay, now here comes my negative. When did she ever meet him? She never met him and putting your hoof down. They never physically ever met. And don't you give me the comic bull BS, because that is not canon to the show. They never met.
That's a tiny plot hole. I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah.
I think.
I chalk it up to maybe, Fluttershy told her a story or something. But yeah, I do see what you mean. Yeah, Twilight and Iron Will never met up till now.
I'm gonna address the chat. It doesn't matter if Fluttershy told Twilight about
that was
him.
Never shown.
She
You're
never
right.
met him, and it was never showed. So unless
Thank
the show
you.
says so, it's not canon. They never met. It is a continuity
show, don't tell.
hole. It is a continuity hole. Remember Silver Quill's continuity knot.
It's called a plot hole.
It is a
Continuity?
massive plot
I think
hole.
not.
I agree
It is
with this.
a big plot hole to me, and it's very annoying. Now, I could have picked something generic, like I cannot believe the parents shoving their babies on top of Flurry Heart like that. That was just despicable and disgusting. And I'm like,
Fans were
really?
stupid in that episode.
I have seen people do stuff like that, though. I have seen people, try to make their kids friend with more popular people's kids because,
Jesus.
then I get to be friends with them. It happens all the time.
That's
So
disgusting.
I can't rule it out as something that...
Honestly, when it comes to, the babies, the only thing I found despicable was, the fact that the parents were allowing Flurry to stack bodies on top of each other. Babies are kind of fragile human beings. Wouldn't that hurt?
In some kind
This
of.
is something I also wanted to point out too. Cadence was not happy about that, and she was pulling away Flurry Heart from doing that.
Cadence was the only one.
It was some kind of infant death battle or something.
Yeah, it's like Cadence is being a parent and realizing her child is misbehaving, whereas the other parents couldn't give a shit that their kids are being mishandled
Yeah,
by
I
another
know.
child. I'm like, are you kidding me, parents?
It's that mentality of, oh my god, I get to be friends with popular people. It's like,
Just flat out despicable. Just despicable.
So overall, that little plot hole with Twilight and Iron Will is your negative.
yep.
That be my negative, yeah. But if I can go on another little rant here,
Sure, go ahead.
what was his name? Sky, whatever.
Star
Oh,
Tracker.
Starcatcher.
Star Trek.
No,
It's
Star
Star
Tracker.
Trek.
Star Tracker.
Trek,
You know,
yeah.
he was the one. He is the one person or personality I never wanted to be. I was always scared of being that personality.
Always getting in your face.
I know that feeling.
Oh.
All
Stalking
meta Star Tracker.
their face, being
Oh god.
awkward to the point that I'm talking into your ear like this.
Hey, you know what?
You're scared of ever becoming Star Trekker.
Yes, I was always scared of being someone like that. That's why I never, assumed I would ever be friends with anybody here, let alone Doc or Silver or Josh. So, because I always was afraid I was going to be that really cringy... I'm sorry! He was a very cringy fan! And I know what they were doing, and they did it too well. But to all those people who are very socially awkward and don't know the meaning of personal space, watch this episode, figure it out.
We'd drop names, but we'd prefer not to.
That's what I was.
I'll drop names.
Another thing I would like to add is, yeah, I'm with you on Star Trekker and all that. I will say this much though. He got bonus points for standing up to Iron Will on behalf of Twilight near the end because, as kind of weird as it is, I do applaud Twilight's family for, accepting him as an honorary member, which I thought was kind of sweet.
That was sweet.
Weird, but sweet.
And I admit that I did kind of feel sorry for him at the end when he did in fact get his hoof hurt, and then Twilight comes back and he's like, oh snap, I really should go. And I'm like, oh good, you got the hit. But Twilight's like, no, I should have told you that you need to give me some space. And in a way, she is right, and yet she's not right. On one hand, I would argue he should have known better, but on the other hand, since because he's socially awkward and cannot help himself, she should have had the ability to stand up for herself and say, hey, you're too close. Because we have told fans before that, hey, you need to back up and give me some space. We have done this before. It's good to let them know. It is good, especially when we know that these people have social disabilities. So
that's fair enough.
It's like on one hand, yeah, this guy should have known better, but at the other hand, Twilight should have been more assertive. So
okay, that's fair enough.
I mean, usually actors have their agents to do that for them, so sorry.
She didn't think she was going to a con or a marathon or a celebration or a ceremony. She thought she was going on a cruise and relaxing with her family.
I think it'd be a really sad but funny story if someone got invited to a con and didn't know that they were the special guest.
Oh God!
I think that would be something I'd want to read into.
So I want to share something else too. So my husband watched this episode because I told him this relates too much. It's too obvious. So he watched it with me. I actually got him to watch an episode. Woo! And he said, "My God, it's like the ultimate con vacation's worst nightmare."
Pretty much.
Thinking, what if this really did happen to us? What if we thought we were all invited to go on this amazing vacation and it turned out to be a con?
You wouldn't.
I heard him in the background. He's like, you wouldn't.
I want to see someone try that. It would be... I mean, it would probably work.
That was so
kind of further proves that Iron Will kind of knew what he was doing.
Iron Will is a genius.
One more thing I would like to add. It's a small thing, and then we can wrap.
Sorry.
Then we can wrap this up. This is a small thing. Like I said before, I enjoy the fact that Twilight Velvet is kind of adrenaline junkie. But I'm sorry, I do not want to try that barrel run thing. But being in a closed space with the barrel closed on top of you, where you can't see where you're going, that is freaking scary!
Isn't that what they do at,
Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
Niagara Falls. I want to drown myself.
I don't know, just seeing an attraction like that, the closest thing I could do, why not just do whitewater rafting? That's the next best thing.
No, because these are the types of people that also want to do bungee jumping and skydiving and all that crazy stuff, which, by the way, I would love to do that one day, just so that I can say that I've done it. But that terrifies me, so...
I don't know. With me, honestly, I mean, I'm fine with whitewater rafting. As someone who has done it before, it is really fun. But when you're in an enclosed space where you're just being shaken around in the dark, I'm sorry,
and then
but
just a sudden drop.
that is freaking horrifying. And
Can I add something to that?
That would be a claustrophobic's worst nightmare right there.
Oh, it would, yeah.
Sure, go ahead, babe.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of this one thing down at a theme park that we actually have here called Lagoon, and there's this one ride that I don't know how anyone rides it, where they take you up like higher than the tallest ride in the theme park, and you're literally just strapped to like this, to just like a life jacket type thing. It's not a life jacket. And that's it. It's like two people strapped together, and then they just let you go. It's like...
Is that a giant swing? Is that what it is?
I don't know what it's called, but I want to know how someone rides that.
It sounds like a giant swing, or it's the slingshot. One of those two. Oh!
Not the slingshot, because
All
that
right.
one is in an enclosed space. I mean, this is literally two people strapped together, and then they just let go of you.
Before we wrap this up, Ninja, I believe Faystar has a gift for you that she made. Ninja, look.
Iron Ninja,
Let's see it.
may it please be glorious.
Oh my god!
That is the greatest thing I have seen since
that's
I looked
good.
in the mirror this morning.
Oh my god, hashtag Iron Ninja.
I make this my
Yep.
profile picture.
All right, so I believe everybody has pointed their positives and negatives.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wrap it up.
Okay, and on that note, this episode of the Lightning Bliss Cruise Ship Show is brought to you by Roundtable Magic. Tuesday afternoons at 9
You're
p.m.
dead to me!
Twitch
Goldie,
channel.
Goldilocks, you were dead! I'm gonna take that little
Hey,
pretty green
We have
outfit
some
you're wearing.
sitcom audience laughter in the background.
Oh,
Just
hold
like
on,
have
hold
some-
on. We have to get the meme faces out of the way. We almost forgot about those.
Oh. I want some stock audience clapping and laughter in the background as that's going on. It's just
Anyway,
Lightning Bliss show was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
and in front of a live Twitch audience. Alright, so here we go. I already put these down in the Skype chat for you. So, this week's Roundtable Meme Face winner comes to us from Louise Howell. The heck? Oh dear. I don't think the picture actually went through. Give me 1 sec. Let me fix that. Okay.
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Oh no!
Just looked at it. Oh my!
That's a red circle.
Oh.
God, my eyes.
That's not a circle! First of all!
Oh dear.
Jesus
Hang on. Let me fix
Christ.
that.
Wait, what are you looking at?
I was
There
looking
it
at
is. Alright, I fixed it. Alright, so this week's Roundtable Meme Face winner comes to us from Louise Howell. Hey there, care to join me in the Mile High Club?
Oh my god.
I just find it, this fits particularly well just because of the face that he's giving. And I figure, why the hell not with that one?
Hey, I got a possible contender. Like, I should probably participate in these more often, but I just thought of one. It's like, hey, feel like joining the Wonderbolt's harem?
And now comes to you.
Get it?
This part
Because
comes
sex.
to you guys. This week's picture that you got to do for your Roundtable Meme Face is this. You guys already see it in the Skype chat. I already sent it to you guys, but I just particularly like this picture here. So I'm going to put this up on my Twitter. All you guys have to do is reply to it with the picture and the subtitle inside of it and tag it with hashtag Roundtable Meme Face, and we will pick a winner on the next episode.
Why is it
I can
reminding
al-
me of that SpongeBob picture?
Which one?
I can already think of a couple ones I could go with.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my.
like Krabby Patties, don't you, Twilight?
Did you guys know that, have you guys ever seen those Squishables at Walmart? They're
Oh,
like
God.
these really... Okay, so I was at Walmart and they have this whole section of them, and I noticed one of them was SpongeBob, and I looked closer and it says memes. All of them are like the most popular SpongeBob memes.
no.
I had one of SpongeBob. It was just his face of you like
Oh,
Krabby
jeez.
Patties, don't use Squidward. But at one point, like, I don't know, there was liquid inside of it and it exploded on my computer.
Oh!
But they had that one, they had dabbing Squidward, they had Surprise Patrick, they had prehistoric SpongeBob, and then they had Mr.
Did they
Krabs.
have Doodle Bob?
No, they didn't. They had
Aw.
Mr. Krabs in his movie gear, and I thought that was a weird one to add because the only reason that was a meme was because it looked kinky.
Me hoy, me hoy, me hoy, me hoy.
Anyways, thank you guys for turning out for this week's roundtable. Join us for whenever we get the next episode going, but probably the next episode after this. Fittingly enough, given the last few episodes, we are going to be interviewing Trevor Duvall, who is the voice of Iron Will and Thunderlane. So how funny is it that we get this opportunity to voice him with two of his characters actually coming back this season? So, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool.
Hey, Trevor!
And I think that about takes care of everything. Thanks to Befish for coming on, doing the arts. She does pretty cool
Happy 7
arts.
years of the show.
Yes, hello.
Yes. She's totally open for commission, so go throw money at her and stuff. I don't know.
Always.
That being said, from all of us at Roundtable, thank you guys for turning out for this, and we'll see you in the next episode.